Yes.
And I started series 2, and I think we've talked in the past about how television shows recycle the second series. We talked a lot on our specials about The Wire, me and Matt, and how the second series was just so awkward and clunky. The second series, The Americans, you are straight in. It comes in with this new plot line of this other Russian family that are there undercover, and you're straight
in. That was the
in.
third series.
No, that's the second.
No, that's the second.
That's the second.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I don't know if it bleeds into the third, but right at the beginning of that series, you think, what's going to happen, and you're straight in, and it's fantastic.
So
I will go back to it. I will go.
But
back
I don't think you will, only because
I will.
When you pause stuff, and we know this, it just gets paused forever, and it goes on the pause list.
I also watched The Americans over this summer. Watched the most recent season, so me and Gary both did it.
I kept on at you and on at you and on at you to watch that.
But I ended up getting quite a lot of The Good Wife done, and I paused that a few times. So
where are you on The Good Wife?
Series 4 or 5, I can't remember when she starts.
Well,
just after they start up their own law firm.
That's 5.
Yeah, so I'm near there. So I've only got 2 series left to go. That.
Okay, well done. I will praise you where praise is necessary. But what did you make of the 4th series of The Americans without spoiling it for Gary?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a bit anticlimactic, I have to say. There wasn't any big final.
Well, there were three big things happened throughout the series.
But like the last scene, there wasn't anything in that last scene.
No, I have to admit, of the final episodes of each series, that was probably the weakest final scene.
I mean,
but
things
we now
happen...
know, it's going to get a 5th and a 6th, and that'll be it. So
yeah,
they're planning. They know what they're doing. I hope. I pray. But I do love that show. Matt and Gary both watched Stranger Things. You can read Matt's review online at the website now if you're not familiar with the
That's why I watched
Netflix show. But you did, at no point did I say watch all of them.
Yeah, I know. And
I have to say, although I like it, I don't think it's as good as the hype.
No, I agree. I think it's a solid...
You sort of saw it before the hype, though, didn't you, Matt? Really?
Yeah, I watched it on the first weekend, I think.
Yeah.
It was sort of a solid, nostalgia fest, but it wasn't... I think that's why everyone likes it.
Compared it to the Goonies and things like that, and obviously there are comparisons and things, and there's definitely an element of fringe in there. Particularly some of the later episodes where they do quite a lot.
The things in the walls.
Well, the things in the walls. They do the what's the regression thing?
The tank.
That's it. Yeah, there's a lot of sort of, and obviously a parallel. Sort of like an alternative universe. Or type thing. So I mean, I really liked it, and I'm glad it's going to get a second series because I think there's plenty of scope.
More Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger things. But I don't think this is like a Breaking Bad type a mega series. I really just
which you also didn't finish.
I think it was on. I think it was on at the right time, like summer.
Yes.
Like everyone's sort of reminiscing about. I mean, there was a lot of like ET references, a lot of like Goonies stuff. Bit of like John Hughes, Breakfast Club, like the teen characters and things like that.
And there was a lot to do with the music as well.
I mean, it was a lot of John Carpenter music, like The Thing and things. Yeah. I mean, the title track was very much based on like John Carpenter stuff for like Assault on Precinct 13. I mean, as a sort of movie buff, I really enjoyed it. I think one of the reasons I enjoyed it was 8 episodes. I think if it had been
very
10 or 12... I think I might have gone where I might have just watched the first episode when Luke asked me to review it.
I would have to say, though, it's still one of the best things that Netflix have done on its own.
It's very original, isn't it?
So,
I think, good performance from Winona Ryder in there. And
she got better. The first couple of episodes, I couldn't stand her.
The little girl, what's her name?
Millie Brown.
Millie Brown.
Millie Brown.
Yeah, who is she British?
Yes.
Yeah, and she was
one of the best sub characters to me is the science teacher.
Yes,
I really liked him, and I don't know why. I really wish he was in it more.
He reminded you of yourself.
No, I don't know what he reminded me of, but he actually he reminded me of one of the teachers off of Donnie Darko.
Noah Wiley's character.
Yeah, that kind of like,
I can't believe I just remembered that, but
kind of cool hip teacher that the kids all go to for like their inside info and isn't too scared to be a little bit, left field.
Yeah, I mean, it is like the nerdy kids that go to him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know me, I'm not a massive sci-fi fan, so this was sort of a broad appeal. So sort of a lot of the stuff you used to watch when you were younger, all those movies. So yeah, would recommend it.
So we'll just touch very briefly on the one show that did peak.
The one show,
not the one show. Although I was disappointed it came from Edinburgh this week, Luke. Matt, that you weren't on it. I was thinking.
I try and stay away from Matt Baker when possible.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, he wasn't on it. That was the thing.
Oh, who was on it?
Well, they had Jack Doherty.
Do we have to do this?
Yes, we do.
I mean.
A show that sort of I mostly binged on over the summer was a great ITV program that you may have missed called The Investigator. And it was
binged on all 3 episodes.
What? Sorry?
You binged on all 3 episodes.
That's not a binge. That's just a set meal.
It's like Chinese.
Breakfast,
You
lunch,
have a
and
little
dinner.
bit, then you want a bit more.
Yeah, Chinese buffet.
But basically, this was their attempt at making a murderer and things like that. Was they took a guy who's sort of known as like an investigator. I think he must have appeared on like This Morning or something. He certainly looked like a sort of the authority figure that might have appeared on talk shows. And he investigated a missing person from Bournemouth, funnily enough. Ultimately, it was disappointing in the sense that he didn't actually manage to speak to any of the particular protagonists. He didn't really get any answers. But the way they filmed it and the way they did it was very interesting. And I think if they managed to get a better resolution to a case, then it really could be a good series for them. I was hooked, and I think as there was such a lack of new shows
I think
over
this
the
was
summer.
poorly promoted. I don't think we
Yeah,
got.
I agree with that. Yeah, you didn't know
any
it
chance
was
to preview it on any of the. It was like it wasn't even on. If you weren't talking about it, I wouldn't know it was on.
Okay.
Review time. 4 parts on BBC One starting last Tuesday.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Whoa. What's going on?
There's a bloke in the north that normally does the reviews, and there's a catchphrase I've been looking forward to for 2 months.
It's called One of Us. And okay. In the north, for the reviews for the first time in a while, it's Matt.
Hello.
Yay!
He's forgotten the protocol here, hasn't he? I think a bit.
It's out of practice.
And just to throw him off the scent, I'm not going to start with One of Us.
Oh.
Classic.
Let's start with the sort of biggest rating show on here, which is the Bake Off. Back for 7th series this time, and they changed the format this time. They weren't baking cakes. No, they were baking cakes. For Gary to do his catchphrase.
Cake!
No, that's not it.
Not really your catchphrase.
I bloody love cake.
There we go. So,
when have you ever said cake like that ever, let alone it being your catchphrase?
That's what I did on Twitter just before it started. I went, cake!
I mean, I don't know how we sort of tackle a Bake Off review, really, because it's the same every year. They just, bake.
I suppose all we can say is I enjoy this, the family enjoy this.
The family, not your family.
It's fun, but I do not understand for the life of me, and I don't know whether anyone involved in it does, why it does so blooming well in the ratings. Of course it's fun, of course they're nice people.
And at Edinburgh, I learned that it ranks very highly between the coveted 16 and 34 demographic.
I think it's that. I think also as well, we talked about the lack of promotion for The Investigator. The BBC practically every advert had something about the Bake Off on the previous week.
But it didn't need I mean, it's one of those shows now that so is sort of entrenched in the public consciousness that everyone knows what the Bake Off is.
But I think they just did such a good job of all summer, the Bake Off is coming.
Yeah, it's just
building that anticipation.
Probably because people were like, "When's the Bake Off starting?" Because it's normally on by now.
It's probably that. Yeah.
Why is all this blooming sport on? Where's my cakes?
Enjoy the sport and the cake.
Have your cake at the same time.
Has anyone got any favourites this year? I know, several years ago, Gary was all about that Nancy who won it. Last year, we were all big Tamal fans. Well, I was anyway.
I think and again, names. The cool black guy.
Salisi.
First of all, he should have been Star Baker. I do not understand how he wasn't Star Baker.
Gary, can I just give you a little insight into the way I watched this?
Yeah.
I watched it on a preview. but the last 5 minutes cuts off, so you don't find out who goes home or who gets Star Baker.
Oh, really? Oh.
And I was convinced that Selassie would be Star Baker, and that woman who's
the weird dancing woman who does exercise. Yeah, we wanted to go home in my house.
And I thought she'd go. But no, it was the preacher that went.
He was pretty bad, but I think she was just more annoying as well as bad. That's why I wanted her to go. But no, Salisi was brilliant, and I just loved his attitude of like, I forgot an ingredient. It's all right.
But if anyone has just great technical challenge for Jaffa cakes, just go down the shop, surely. I actually saw Sue at Edinburgh.
Did you?
She was hosting a panel about what men want.
How the
hell?
But you
never did find out, did you?
Well, we got that men wanted emotion, but stealthily delivered.
Right.
So something like
people
Hunted.
Crying, but on like an Air Force.
Hunted apparently delivered that emotion, but with like an action background sort of thing.
Right.
Hunted also back on the 20th of September.
Yeah, they did preview the second series of Hunted.
I last week stayed with my parents because my dad had also been in hospital, so I lived with my parents last week. Lots of come dine with me, loose women, and what's the one where Davina McCall rips your heart out and stomps on it and then puts it back and makes you cry? Long Lost Family is horrible.
Not horrible, no,
absolutely
it's not
terrible. It's basically 1 hour of Davina McCall and Nikki Campbell building you up to an emotional reunion and then giving it to you. It's like the X Factor, but without the music acts. Isn't it? I don't like it.
I don't think it's terrible. Well, no, I don't see what... I mean, it's the same every week. I don't see what there is to not like. It's just...
It's
the only reason you wouldn't like it.
I feel like it's playing on your emotions, I suppose.
I don't see why you could be upset with Long Lost Family. It's just...
I love how we've gone into Long Lost Family from the Bake Off.
Well, because you talked about emotional, but no, because I think it doesn't have any intrinsically entertaining value. All it does is play on your emotions.
But funnily enough, they did a list of the top 10 shows just men watched. You know, not the volume of men, but just men, like percentage-wise. So not women watching it. And it was all those Channel 4 history documentaries, like Hitler's biggest weapon. And
that's Channel 5, mate. You know.
No, that's Channel 4.
And Channel 5 do the Hitler stuff. They're doing one on his wife this week.
Well, Channel 4 do a lot of those, like Dunkirk and things like that.
I don't feel like this is our best work.
Anyway, Bake Off, cakes, drizzle cakes.
Yeah.
Shiny cakes.
The annoying dancing woman has got to go, and I think it's too early to pick a winner yet.
Have you told your friends about this podcast?
Okay, here we go.
No?
It's just not my idea of a good time.
Tell them now.
That's what the people want to hear.
This is the Custard TV Podcast.
Good to the last drop.
From thecustardtv.com.
Let's do the X Factor as we're talking about crime.
The X Factor was back. Luke wrote a review that was very, very, very scathing. I get what you're saying, it's all the cliches, but we knew they were coming. I don't know why you're complaining about them.
Because I just think we don't need them, and I think people just know that's what the show needs, and they play off it. And even last night, it's annoying, because I thought last night's was a better show, but then we had the woman... Then we had the woman who's
you probably remember her the first time round in the charts in like '97, don't you?
Probably do. I'm a nerd like that. But the problem is that I don't like the society we live in now, where people have to bring up stuff like losing their brother.
And I would like to say
the
fact that in 2 consecutive years we've had 2 original songs about people's brothers dying. Because I believe Monica Michael did one last year.
She did.
And the only thing I would say, I've watched both episodes, is, as much as, it's emotional and fantastic about what he did, he won't be allowed to write his own songs for the show. They did that 1 year, didn't they? That quirky woman. Yeah, and she got kicked out in about week 4.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
No, she left of her own accord.
She left of her own accord.
Yeah, okay, fine.
She had the sniffles.
Fair enough. So she didn't win, is what I'm saying. She didn't make it through to the later stages.
But she got through every vote she, the public liked her.
Did she win it?
No, because she pulled out.
But my point is...
if she hadn't pulled out, she
hadn't pulled out, she had a chance to win it. But it was of her own volition.
I had more teeth, I'd be married. There you are.
I haven't missed
Jesus.
this.
But you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, he's going to have to learn to sing other people's songs.
No, I know what you mean. What I'm saying is that other people have sung original songs at their first audition, like this guy, and then gone on